Welcome back, boys and girls. Did you enjoy Chapter 7? Well, I like the way that Dorothy started playing with Toby because Dorothy didn't do much of anything. She just kind of stayed to herself, but now she's starting to have fun and playing ball with Toby. I hope that continues. That probably makes her feel better. So let's find out what happens in Chapter 8 in Toby's Adventures. Dorothy and I played outside most days after that. My favorite game, though, was running down the hallways. Sometimes Mona played with me, sometimes Patsy did. Every now and then, Eddie joined in. It was always sensational. Fran never played, but sometimes she watched. I wish she'd take part. She never smelled very happy. And a good game of chase would probably make things better. But one day Fran came to find me where I was having a quick snooze on the couch next to Dorothy. She clipped a leash on my collar and told me to come with her. I heard come, so I hopped off the couch and followed Fran. But she didn't know how to do training right. She did not give me a treat or even any petting or praise for walking by her side. She took me to a room with a desk in it. On the desk was one of those plastic boxes that Patsy sometimes stared at. Fran sat down in the chair and waited. I waited too. It was dull. I sniffed along the carpet, but nothing smelled like food. I checked a wastebasket under the desk, but Fran made a disapproving grunt and pushed me away with her foot. It only smelled like paper anyway. Paper's not much fun to chew. So I was very happy when Patsy and Mona walked into the office for a short time later. They understood playing much better than Fran did, except that they seemed to have forgotten because the three of them just stood there and looked at each other and said words, lots of words. Humans like to do this almost as much as they like to stare at boxes with pictures on them. The dog is not working out, Fran said firmly. Mona gasped, Toby? I looked up hopefully and wagged harder. She'd said my name. Playing? Soon? Treats? Maybe? But she didn't even look at me. He tears up and down the halls like this is a racetrack, Fran said. Yesterday I saw him running around the hospice ward. The people there need peace and quiet and comfort, not a steeplechase. Eddie and I grabbed him right away, Mona said. Fran was frowning. That's not the point. Whatever they were talking about, it didn't seem to involve me or a ball to throw. But when there's nothing to play with, a dog can always improvise. Fran had let my leash drop, and I wandered away from her and jumped on the small couch in the corner of the room. I think he's calming down a lot, Mona said nervously. And all the residents love him, Patsy added. I see them brighten up when he walks into a room. Did you know that Dorothy goes outside to throw the ball for him nearly every day? I couldn't get her engaged in anything before this. All she wanted to do was watch television. She hardly talked to anyone. Now she's going outside daily because of Toby. That hardly makes up for all the disruption, Fran said. And can you get him off my couch, please? There were 2 soft cushions on the couch. I grabbed at one and sank my teeth into it deeply. It was just the right size to shake hard. I shook. Stitches ripped. Toby, no! Mona wailed. She tried to grab the cushion from my hand. Excellent. Tug. I love tug. I jumped down. Oh no. Don't bite Fran's cushions. Not of everybody. She's not going to be happy. And I braced my feet into the carpet and I did my best to resist as Mona tried to drag the cushion from my mouth. I wouldn't let her. I was going to win. But then Mona very unfairly worked her fingers into my mouth to force my jaws open and snatched the pillow away from me. Mona threw the cushion back on the couch, sat down on the floor and picked me up, holding me on her lap. I could feel that she was worried, but I couldn't see why. We'd play another game soon. The point is, he's not trainable, Fran said. I gave this every chance, but he's a young beagle. and he's got way too much energy. He's not safe. He's going to knock someone over and make them trip. And the way he tears through the hallways? No, it's not working out, and there's nothing left to try. Take an ad out in the paper, online, whatever. We have to get rid of this dog. Mona gasped as if something hurt her. She held me tightly to her chest. It was not very comfortable, but I could tell she needed me, so I didn't struggle. I did squirm around so I could lick her chin. Get rid of Toby? She asked. You can't. You just can't. She'd said my name. I love Mona. I licked harder. Mona, Patsy said, bring Toby and come with me. Mona and Patsy went back into the little room that smelled like Patsy. Mona sat down on the floor and cuddled me close. We can't just get rid of him, she wailed, and a few tears slipped down her face, but then they tasted salty. He hasn't done anything wrong. I know he hasn't, Patsy said. She sounded sad too. I would go over and lick her face soon. That would help. Fran does have a point though, Mona. We thought he was a calm, easygoing puppy when we got him, but the truth is he wasn't well. Thank goodness that we figured that out and helped him. But now, well, he's a beagle, and beagles love to run. If we could just take him home, Mona said. You know we can't. No pets in the apartment rule. I know, Mona wiped her face, but Fran's not right about the training. Toby's really smart. He picks things up so quickly. Except for stay or lie still, Patsy said gently. My ears drooped at the sound of those words. We weren't doing training now, were we? If I just had a little more time, I could teach him, Mona said. Please, Mom, he's such a good dog. I wagged. I liked being a good dog. Patsy sighed. I'll do what I can, Mona, but don't get your hopes up. I can drag my feet a little about putting out an ad, but Fran's the boss here. If she says Toby has to go, there's nothing either you or I can do. Oh, they can't get rid of Toby. The next morning, when I went to see Dorothy, Patsy and Mona were already there. Of course I'll try, I heard Dorothy say. Anything for Toby. I raced up to Dorothy, who was sitting in her wheelchair, but we didn't go outside. I watched, puzzled, as Patsy helped Dorothy move out of the wheelchair and sit on the couch. I looked all over for the little ball. I did not see it anywhere. Mona patted the couch next to Dorothy. Up here, Toby. I jumped up and sniffed at Dorothy's lap. Was the ball there? Toby, sit, Mona told me. I sighed and I sat. Oh well, if I must. Down, Mona said. I reluctantly slid on my belly right next to Dorothy. Training was not anywhere near as fun as chasing the ball. Now lie still, Toby, lie still, Mona said. She backed up a few steps. It seemed as if she were holding her breath. Dorothy's soft, gentle hand touched my head and stroked all the way down my back. I wagged once. Then I hopped up and stuck my whole head under one of the cushions. Maybe the ball was here. Since Dorothy seemed to have forgotten it, I figured it's my job to remind her. Toby, no, Mona said. I pulled my head out from under the cushion and looked at her in surprise. No? Why was she saying no? She told me to sit and lie down again. I did it. Why did training mean having to do things so many times? Lie still, Toby, Mona told me. I looked up at her hopefully. When were we going to play? Okay, Mona whispered. We won't make him do it for too long, just a few seconds more. Suddenly, I had an idea. My ears twitched with excitement of it. Maybe the little ball was lost. Maybe that's why they weren't playing with it. All I had to do was bring Dorothy another toy. I leaped off the couch, raced out of the room. Next to my bed was a basket full of toys. I dug through it and found one that I liked a lot, a braided rope with a ring at one end. With that in my teeth, I trotted back to the TV room. Dorothy was still on the couch, Mona was sitting on it too, looking discouraged. I jumped up and laid the braided rope in Dorothy's lap. I solved the problem. Now we could play. That would definitely cheer Dorothy up. Mona too. Oh, Toby, Mona groaned. I played lie still with quite a few of my friends that day. Mona seemed to have forgotten the rules of the game though, because I never got any treats. I forgave her. I loved her very much. When she put me in bed before she left for the night, she kissed the top of my head. I felt so much love for her that my tail beat against my soft blankets. Toby, you have to do better, she whispered to me. You've got to learn this. I loved hearing Mona say my name. I licked her nose. I couldn't wait to play more tomorrow. Well, Toby, Mona said, Toby, you've got to do better. What do you think? I don't like the idea that Fran is telling them that they have to get rid of him. That's not fair. Everybody loves Toby. And what does Toby have to get better doing? What do you think is going to happen next? See you in chapter 9.